Madison Joyce, and I'm going to do the very, very quick version of this because there's a lot of David Schultz stuff. But let's just.
I love David Schultz.
Let's just give the last line. Your deep, deep thoughts on Dr. D. David Schultz.
That is one tough bastard. He don't care. He don't care. Even when he punched, who was that announcer he punched in the face?
John Stossel slapped.
Yep. And Vince was right there, slapped the hell out of him. I used to ride with David quite a bit. We were teamed up in Memphis. And David sometimes would just roll down his window. We'd be riding down the road and there's a sign. He just shoot the sign with a gun. He'd shoot about 3 or 4. And he thought that was the greatest thing in the world. So one night we're in this town right down below Memphis. And this guy kept walking by the dressing room, and David was looking out the door, and I'm looking out. We're watching the matches. And one guy said, "Hey, F you, David Schultz, F you, F you." And then David said, "Come here a minute." The guy said, "I ain't coming over there. No, come here. I want to ask you something." Kept it up and kept it up and kept it up. Finally, the guy figured there was no threat in David. He said, "No, come here a minute. I want to ask you about that girl." So he said, he looked around and said, "That girl over there?" He said, "Yeah, come here, come here." And he came over there. David yanked him in the dressing room and, pushed the door shut. David beat the living crap out of him. And what did I do? Hell, I had nothing to do with that. I stood completely clear of that. So then he threw him back out there and he said, "Now get the hell out of here. If you come back, I'll do it again." Then we look out there and the guy has a policeman and we see him talking, blah, 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 blah. And he told me to come in here and I come in there and look at my eye. Look here. And then he looked back and saw us. He said, "Look, they're watching me tell you this." And he said, "They know they're guilty." And the cop told him, he said, "Hey man, I don't know what to tell you. You can go down to City Hall, you can take a warrant out, but hey, no, I'm not going to go in there." But David was rugged, which fit exactly into his next line of work as a bounty hunter, because David would, and he wasn't scared either. He wasn't afraid. David was big. David was about 6'3", maybe, I don't think he was 6'4", but he was kind of tall, and he weighed about 260. And brother, he had a mean streak in him. So when he told him to come here, and if he had to take him down, he'd take him down. So, but David, I liked him. He liked me. See, that's my strategy of getting along with all these tough guys. Make them like you. Be funny. Laugh with them. Then I'm not getting the crap beat out of me. But David, I think he was living in Jackson, Tennessee. I don't know if he's still there or not. But here's another story about David. We were in Louisville, Kentucky one night, and we were wrestling. It was me and David versus Rocky Johnson and Bill Dundee. And some guy, he's drunk as hell, and somehow he was on the floor right there. And David said, "Get in here. Get in here." So the guy just stepped up to the ring and got in. And we had the belts, but in those belts, it was like an eagle, but the eagle, the top of the eagle's head extended out of the belts about this far, which was, I've never seen a belt like that, but they had it. And when the guy come in, David took his belt and he hit him right in the head. Oh, he dropped him. And then David started putting the boots to him. And what did I do? Again. I said, "Hey, I don't have nothing to do with it." And the deal is, Rocky Johnson and Bill Dundee raised the rope for the guy to get in there. And finally, the security run in there and got him. He was bleeding like a stuck pig. And they drug him out. And nothing ever happened about that. And David thought it was funny that the guy got in there. But I did hear that the guy he had trouble for years after that. I don't know why he didn't sue David, because I was in the ring. If he'd sued David, he'd sued me too, but I didn't do anything. So to say David was a badass is saying it mildly.
I want to pick up on something you said before then. You said that in the other story where David beat up a fan, took him in the back, smacked him around, and then he was talking to the police. And then the policeman said, according to your story just then, I'm not going back there. Were the police ever actually afraid to go in the locker room for any reason? Or was that just something for him to get out of having to file the paperwork?
This is years and years and years ago. This is when a lot of people were still believing that wrestling could be a shoot. So if that cop said, hell, I'm not going back there, you know. The cop told us, the cop come back later and told us what he told him. He says, you can go down to City Hall or Mayor, wherever, and take a warrant, but I'm not doing it. I'm not arrested. I didn't see it happen. I'm just going, he said, you're out here, y'all messed up. I don't know what happened.